Do you know which interview is the hardest face-to-face in the North American aviation market? It's with JetBlue. The failure rate is nearly 67% of candidates. What do they ask? Where do you need to be careful not to fail? And the tips for answers? I'll tell you everything in this video. Hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez. This is the Fly Deck Briefing channel. I've been a recruiter and selector for 28 years with extensive experience in the North American and global aviation markets. Today, I train 45 airlines worldwide, teaching recruiters how to find the best talent, the best cabin crew members. And I'm going to tell you the 9 questions JetBlue asks in interviews and why they fail so many flight attendants. What's the first question? A very well-known question. Tell me a little about yourself. What does a JetBlue recruiter like to hear? They like to hear 3 factors. One of these 3. If you have all 3, even better. You must tell the truth too, which are care, humor, and giving your best to the customer. All right? So if I'm a JetBlue and they ask, tell me about yourself, an answer of 1 minute 15, 1 minute 30. Hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez. I'm 46 years old. Currently, I live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. One of my main characteristics is that I'm very good-humored. I like to serve. I like to be with people. Everyone, friends who live with me, talk about how when they're with me, they feel good because of my good humor, because of the cheerful way I see life. I like taking care of people, which is why I previously chose to work as a nurse. Taking care of people, and I've always had good feedback. And I always believe that everything can improve and that the customer is the reason for any business to exist. And that's one of the reasons that leads me today to be a candidate for this position at JetBlue. A short, quick presentation. I'm not a nurse. It's just a fictional example, but one where I bring in care, humor, and the best for the customer. Think about your field. Think about your experience. Formulate this answer well. This one trips up many candidates. Second question. I'll give you 9 from JetBlue. Stay with me until the end of the video. Who is your life hero and why? Who's your life hero and why? Actually, how can I put it? Here I'm speaking as a psychologist. It's a disguised way for the JetBlue recruiter to say this to you. What do you value in people? What are the most important personal values to you? So it's important for you to bring up a hero who doesn't have to be a Marvel hero, a media hero, but can be a hero from your reality who brings very important factors such as, for example, safety, integrity, that is, telling the truth, and a person who can, how can I say, working well without a supervisor watching. So I could give an answer here. I could say, look, my life hero is my father. My father had 3 very important attributes. First, he always took care of us. I think a true hero, he should care. He should look out for people. The second thing, my father is my hero because he is a person of integrity. What he said, he did. His word was more important than a contract signature. I thought that was very important. I take that into my life. My word is worth a lot. And a third, my father always taught us to be loyal. So even if no one is watching, do the right thing for yourself. And that's my hero. And I believe I learned a lot from him during the time he was with me, since he passed away a few years ago. So I'm going to provide an answer where my hero has attributes that the JetBlue recruiter wants to choose, okay? Shall we move on to the third question? Stay with me until the 9th. Let's go until night, okay? Before I continue, I've pinned in the first comment of the video and in the video description my ebook, which is the 50 mistakes you cannot make in any selection process, whether it's JetBlue or any other company. This ebook will greatly shorten. It will significantly reduce your path to approval at major airlines, okay? Take a look at the first pinned comment and the video description. There's a discount coupon for you to pay less. Let's go to the third JetBlue question. Why did you choose a career as a flight attendant? My tip for this answer, the JetBlue recruiters, and I know several of them, how could I put it? Be smiley, be cheerful, Don't answer like a robot that speaks it sounds like a recording and you don't even breathe. Breathe. Put some intonation in your voice. Speak calmly. A tip: the more nervous you are, the more slowly, the more calmly you should speak. So if they ask why I chose to be a flight attendant, you can mention that you like to serve, that you like to include, that you're a proactive person. But whenever this question comes up, I usually say this: look, the most important thing, why do you want to be a JetBlue flight attendant? Let your heart speak. You understand? Except for very monetary factors. Oh, because I need a stable job, because I have 2 children. I'm not saying that this isn't a valid answer. It's a valid answer, of course, but it's not what the recruiter wants to hear. They want to understand the meaning of that for you. If they ask me, I'm not a flight attendant, I'm a recruiter who works in international aviation, I could say, I want to be a JetBlue flight attendant because I love serving people, because JetBlue is a cheerful company. It manages to be joyful for its passengers and extremely safe. And I believe that to work, we have to be happy and joyful. The passengers are happy, the crew is happy, and so am I. I'm extremely professional, but I want to work in an environment where safety comes first, but joy goes hand in hand with safety. That's why I want to be a JetBlue flight attendant. It's a company that carries this banner of joy, okay? Now let's move on to the 5th question. Tell us about a time a customer praised you and a time they criticized you, okay? For this type of answer, here's a tip. You should give a practical example, all right? It's to give a practical example. A practical example means telling the situation, task, action, and result. These examples shouldn't just pop into your head at that moment. I always say that. Bring them to any interview. At JetBlue, Delta, Frontier, Southwest, it doesn't matter the airline. Alaska, Qatar, Air France, Lufthansa, no matter the airline. At home, before the selection process, memorize 3 or 4 examples that you can share. One example where you managed conflicts. One example where you exceeded customer expectations. One example where you received negative feedback and learned from it. One example where a customer praised you a lot in other sectors you've worked in. So when this question comes up, tell us about a time a customer praised you. The example's already here. You tell it in a minute and a half. Tell me about a time a customer criticized you. Tell when they criticized you, but one detail: never blame the customer or the company. Take responsibility, say what you learned and what you did to not make that mistake again. All right? And then you'll answer these situational questions that come up at JetBlue. Well, okay. Before I continue, if you want mentoring here from Flydeck Briefing, this mentoring is live, online, individual, and via Google Meet. We get in there right with you to train you for the interview or any other stage at JetBlue. The video interview or the group dynamics you'll have to do at the Blue Review or another airline, okay? You can reach out to me. Here in the video description, in the first comment, there's a WhatsApp number, a Telegram number. You'll call me, speak directly with me, okay? And then we'll agree on the number of sessions, what you want to work on in your sessions, and it'll be a pleasure to help you. Or you can sign up directly. The website is here on the screen. It's also pinned in the first comment and in the description, which is www.flydeckbriefing.com, okay? You go there, schedule the sessions, make the payment through Hotmart, a payment platform accepted in, I think, 104 countries, extremely safe, with clear refund policies. And obviously, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, because I've been teaching here for quite a while now, and I really want your subscription, your like. There are videos here every Monday and Wednesday. World Aviation is on Flight Deck Briefing, and I'm counting on your subscription, okay? Now, let's move on to the 6th question. How do you work with people who have different opinions than yours? Okay? Yeah, JetBlue is an inclusive company. It's a company where you'll have a Democrat and a Republican. For example, you might have someone of Arab origin, someone of South American origin, like me, I'm Brazilian, and someone American. And that's very natural within the company. So when they ask you about this, words they like. They like humanity, equity, respect, following protocols. So I could say, look, working with different people is always something very important to me. After all, we're all human, regardless of our religions, our beliefs, political opinions. Respecting opinions is important, and respecting relationships, safety, and service protocols is the most important thing in any airline, especially at JetBlue, which flies the flag of a happy company. So differences, in fact, are not obstacles. They're important for us to deliver the best to the customer. All right? Now let's move on to the seventh question. What does inspiring humanity mean to you? What does inspiring humanity mean to you? That's the question. Yeah, because JetBlue has a lot of this thing about inspiring humanity. All right? Inspiration. And then you can answer about teamwork. I think it's the most important thing. When they touch on the subject, inspiration, I can say the following. JetBlue is a company that inspires the United States every day, the world to be better, right? And first of all, because the team is inspired, the team is happy. And one of the things that charms me most about JetBlue, me answering as a candidate, is the good capacity for adaptation. How it's a company that adapts to different realities. And I think inspiring by adapting is the best way for us to build a better world. And that's why JetBlue today, in my opinion, is the best American airline. That could be a good answer for you. Eighth question. Let's go. Tell about a time you broke rules to offer a differentiated service to your customers. Okay? Here, they want to check the blue heart issue. They call it the blue heart, okay? Which is the matter of serving with a blue heart, right? It's breaking the rules. You might want to avoid using that term, even if the recruiter does, okay? I could say the following. I'll do everything to ensure that all customers are well served. I follow all the rules and all the protocols, but I believe that then you give an example of where you used to work. At the movie theater where I worked in Madrid, I always watched the customers' needs closely before they even asked. And I was praised a lot for that. Sometimes they were looking or thinking, and just by looking, I could understand what they wanted. And I served with heart, with a smile. So I didn't wait for them to come to me for me to serve them. I often anticipated the service. And I broke, let's say, the rules in that way to do the best for them. So it makes for a really cool answer. Anticipation, okay? And the ninth question, if you could change anything in the travel industry, what would you change? Okay? And that can be a very personal answer. I put mine, okay? I put mine. So I'd say the following. I'd say, look, one thing I change in the travel industry worldwide, the smile comes before the money. The same concern that companies worldwide have today with flight safety, ground staff, crew, captains. Everyone has a very big concern with safety. It's important that the smile and joy accompany that concern. So I think that's been lost in the aviation industry, but JetBlue keeps that flag flying. So that's what I'd change if I had the power to change world aviation. Did you like these questions? There are some other questions that might come up that I haven't mentioned here. And I'll leave everything in this video right here. Go watch it. It'll help you a lot. Excellent preparation. Best regards and see you later. Bye.